Hey, welcome back to That Stupid Podcast. It's Thursday, August the 7th, 2014, which means it's time for
Pop culture.
That was kind of creepy, man.
Yeah, that was the point. No, it's seriously pop culture. And we got a bunch of stories for you.
We have one or two. We have
Just a couple.
A few things to talk about.
So we talked about this one actually last week, which is the Big Bang Theory stuff. Do you want to go ahead and give them the rundown?
I kind of want to. What did I say last week exactly?
You said, man, I hope they don't halt production and hope nobody gets fired.
Yeah. Well,
what happened?
They've halted production.
And nobody got fired
Not yet. But I said
next season on the Big Bang Theory, everyone gets fired.
I said you need to be careful because you're going to screw yourselves, and you're really close to doing that.
Especially considering they're already getting syndication paychecks.
So this season of Big Bang Theory, which should have started production as of the time you're watching the show, it should have started 2 weeks ago.
It didn't.
It did not. In fact, it doesn't look like it's going to start for another 2 to 3 weeks,
means,
maybe at the very front end. But probably you're right.
A couple months, and the whole thing is it's not just one member of the cast.
It's
the
all of
entire cast decided, you know what?
They're pulling a Friends, and you need to stop it.
It's gonna hurt you because CBS has already got bad ratings across the board. They'll just chuck another show up there.
Or they'll replace you.
That's what I'm saying. They'll just chuck.
No. Look at Charlie Sheen. They'll just replace you.
That's possible.
You'll have the Big Bang Theory with 5 new doctors and another blonde chick.
Yeah, it's possible.
I mean, it'll happen. So just.
Tara Reid's looking for a new job after Sharknado 2.
Oh, wow. So that dropped last week.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. The Sharknado 2 happened,
The pointless
and it got
sequel.
record ratings again.
Because it's a horrible movie. That's why you look. You don't watch Sharknado.
Did you DVR it?
I totally did.
Yeah, you did.
I haven't seen it yet, but I did DVR it. I can't watch it live because I'll get sucked into the whole Twitterverse of all of.
You're gonna be live tweeting. You're gonna be live tweeting Sharknado,
and
like somebody else in the bar did. James Fryer. Not calling anybody out. Live tweeting Sharknado. That's right, Sharknado. Live tweet. It's actually pretty funny. I read a lot of them the next day.
So I did jump in the tweet thing about that once, and I said, look, and this is for me, you, and the internet. You need to get on this. I want to see a Starknado shirt, little Game of Thrones Sharknado
it's
crossover.
Coming. I guarantee you that it'll be on T-Fury in a week or two.
So I put it out there last week.
All it'll be is blood and death and a tornado. That's all it'll be.
I want to see dragons spinning around a tornado. Come on, all right? I mean, come on. So I'm just saying we got to do it.
All right, we'll get that on. What else you got for us?
So my next big story is Godzilla is official now with its sequel. We all kind of knew this was happening. This isn't a huge surprise. But
actually, it is a huge surprise for me because they didn't make that much money off the first movie.
Yeah, but it didn't surprise me.
It was very well received.
It was a great movie. So the big news is who he's fighting.
I already know, but I want you to tell them.
So a little thing by the name of Rodan.
Yeah, little Rodan. And it's not like a little thing. Doesn't Rodan have 3 heads?
Yeah, he's got 3 heads. And
Rodan
then
was a mythical monster meets a Japanese kaiju.
And then the ever-flying Mothra or Mothra.
You're talking about Mothra,
yeah,
man. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a Yankee. I say it weird, but that's who I thought was going to be in the original one when I saw one of the trailers, and of course it turned out it wasn't.
It wasn't, although it kind of was, but it wasn't. It was just rando monster.
It was a rando monster that had a little Mothra appeal to her, but she will be in the sequel. Bryan Cranston will not be.
Nope. Gee, I wonder why. He was in all of 15 minutes of that movie anyway.
That really saddened me. I'm not going to lie. I was
a little butthurt about it. I was, and I think we talked about that. We were like, yeah, Bryan Cranston would be great in this, and he was for the 15 minutes.
He was awesome in that. But you know what else he might be awesome in?
What's that?
Might possibly be awesome in?
Oh, you're talking about
Better Call Saul?
Better Call Saul, yeah. Because it's going to happen before
during
Breaking
and after.
Bad, during Breaking Bad, and after Breaking Bad.
And in an interview recently, he kind of talked about the potential chance of him coming back and reprising his role as Walter White.
To some of the stories that you didn't see that would have been in between stuff of what happened, which is going to make you want to go back
you're going to
watch the rest of Breaking Bad again.
And you know what? If you haven't gone back and rewatched Breaking Bad, you really should anyway.
There's tons of stuff you probably
missed.
I guarantee it. There's
absolutely.
a whole color theme that I didn't even notice going on. It's nuts.
I know.
It's crazy. For example, the bear, the color of the bear actually appears so many times throughout that season with the bear.
Yep.
And each season has its own color that denotes what's going to happen
and
next.
His car, the car he drives, it always has something to do with the last person he killed, as an example.
It's crazy.
You should go back and watch that show. But You had a story you wanted to.
Well, I wanted to give the SDCC rundown for those people who missed Comic-Con.
San Diego Comic-Con, which is basically 900 million people crammed into a
I'm kind of just going to shoot through a whole bunch of stuff about this.
All right.
Basically, they did announce the Last of Us movie. We talked about that last week. That's going to be horrible. Godzilla 2 monsters were announced. You just talked about that. They're doing a King Kong prequel called Skull Island.
I'm not okay with this.
I don't care about this. I didn't see the King Kong period, and you know what? I guarantee you that
it's gonna
Peter
suck.
Jackson's not going to have time to direct it anyway, so whatevs. So they're doing new cast reveals for Hannibal. I don't actually have the details on that, unfortunately, because I don't care about that show. I couldn't get into it. I know it sounds bad.
No, I'm with you.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 will be coming.
Which, if you didn't see that in San Diego, you would have seen it at the movie.
At the end of the theater, because it says...
will return.
That's correct.
I mean,
we'll talk about Guardians of the Galaxy in just a minute. Don't worry, no spoilers.
Yep.
Kevin Smith revealed that the plans for the True North trilogy are beginning with the low-budget horror film Tusk. And if you haven't seen the trailer for this, it is online, I believe, right now.
Super creepy.
And it's weird. It's super weird.
I mean, like, I'm not even a big Justin Long fan necessarily, but I think he did a good job being the right amount of creepy for that movie.
So Tarantino, this is probably old news by now. Tarantino confirmed doing The Hateful Eight. They've already put a poster out for it.
That's not the only thing he confirmed.
He confirmed that he's going to do a sci-fi movie next. Yeah. He's going to do
still not the only thing he confirmed.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about the fact that they're going to re-release Kill Bill in theaters?
And there's a third one coming?
Yes, there's the long time talked about third Kill Bill movie. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it.
He confirmed it.
I'll believe it when I see it.
He confirmed it. And it's not like Uma Thurman's not going to do that movie.
Well, if you guys like Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., get ready to like more of that because ABC is about to add a new show.
Oh, yes.
Agent Carter.
Yeah, which I'm kind of okay with, to be honest with you.
I don't know anything really about it. It's still not in its third season. I have a rule. If there's a show I like, I won't watch until third season.
I've already called out your hypocrisy on that crap anyway.
So Doctor Strange is currently being cast. And it looks like Joaquin Phoenix is going to play the role of Doctor Strange, which is great because he's strange as hell and he's a weird dude.
He is strange as hell.
But he's kind of a good actor.
Isn't he busy dating a computer?
He probably is busy dating. Her was a great film. Of course, we posted this on the Facebook. The Firefly cast will return and reunite for Firefly Online.
For an MMO.
Yeah,
I'm
which
so
has
happy
been
about
the long time coming for forever. I knew that this was going to happen when they announced that MMO.
Yeah, but
and the MMO still hasn't really taken off and gotten off the ground.
It'll still be better than Firefall.
Well, they did show some Avengers Age of Ultron footage, and they talked about the fact that people going to die.
Yeah, well, we've talked about the fact that people are going to die.
People are going to die.
Don't get all upset.
The big reveal at SDCC was they showed off the 3D Deadpool footage.
Yes, they did.
With Ryan Reynolds. It was the test footage that was created probably back in 2010, I want to say. And everybody was like, oh, my God, they're going to come out with the movie. It's coming out. It's going to come out. Look, I've been following this story since it burst on the scene in 2009. Ryan Reynolds has been on it. The guys from Zombieland were the ones who were actually originally doing the script. It's being redone. It's in post-production / pre-production / production period.
Awesome movie, right?
So I'm going to say this. We posted the footage. I've seen the high-quality footage. It's gorgeous.
It is. It is
and
pretty.
It's perfect. It's straight up third wall breaking Deadpool.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is
fourth wall breaking.
Fourth wall, I should say. This footage is old, and it was done by Ryan Reynolds' production company, actually, and it was a feeler kind of thing. And everybody's like, "Oh, well, they showed."
Well, it was kind of like when they did the feeler for the Mortal Kombat movie with Jerry Ryan, which, by the way, I really wish they'd still make that movie because, damn.
The thing about it is, Fox says, "Oh, we didn't have anything to do about that." I call BS. I think this is Fox putting out the feelers, and after seeing this kind of internet reaction, this movie's going to be heading for a go. And Ryan Reynolds needs a win really bad right now.
He really does, because the last thing he was in was terrible.
It was not good. Let's see. The last thing he was in would have been Ripped, R.I.P.D., which was him.
Oh, what was the last thing?
Yeah,
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah,
that wasn't
Jeff
terrible.
Bridges.
Sorry.
Yes, it was.
It was
not good.
It was slapstick terrible, which makes it okay.
It was okay, but it was Men in Black with ghosts.
Right.
And
but
it wasn't
but
good
what
Men
it
in Black
wasn't,
with Ghosts.
it wasn't his mouth sewn shut terrible.
Well, to be fair, right after Wolverine Origins came out, a lot of people are upset about the Wolverine Origins. Deadpool was at the end of it. Literally after that movie came out and they started talking about this, Marvel came out and was like, that's not actually Deadpool, that's a clone, don't everybody freak out, blah, blah, blah. And everybody still freaks out about it to this day. So I'm going to clarify it right now.
Well,
the Deadpool at the end of Wolverine Origins.
Which doesn't even matter now anyway.
Yeah, well, actually it does. Origins still exists in the timeline.
Origins does?
Yes.
Does it? All right. Well, damn.
So Origins still exists in the timeline after X3. Sorry.
I was trying to,
Nice try.
I was just trying to be. I'll get over it.
So I heard you saw Guardians of the Galaxy.
So I did see this little movie, Guardians of the Galaxy, and oh my God. Can I talk about something else before that?
Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned Peter Jackson, and I have not been excited about any of the Hobbit movies until I saw the trailer for the next Hobbit movie, which was
Talking about getting to see Sauron before Sauron?
Yeah, oh my God. Like, so that was the trailer for the next Hobbit movie is in front of Guardians of the Galaxy. I just want to drop that real quick. It looks amazing. Seriously, it does look amazing.
That's me glazing over because I don't and this is going to sound really bad. I don't care about any Lord of the Rings, anything.
It just looks amazing. It really, really does.
Walking.
But I did see Guardians of the Galaxy.
Give me out of 100?
Out of 100 for me, honestly, it's mid-90s. I mean, this is close to 100 out of 100.
So give me your rundown review.
Couple things. I'm going to say we all know Karen Gillian's in it, and I had a suspicion who she was based on the fact that she had shaved her head, obviously, for the role. So we all kind of, and she is, in fact,
Well, there's no spoiler
daughter
telling
of
her
Theros,
she's Thanos' daughter.
Right. And she's amazing, even though she's only in it for a little bit, which we also kind of knew.
She's in it for a good 25 minutes of the film.
No. Yeah, I know, but it's a 2-hour movie.
2.5.
2:12.
Yeah.
I'll meet you in the middle.
I'm adding credits.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Credits and previews.
Previews. Yeah.
And it's like 7 hours long at that point. But I guess the quick rundown for me is the movie opens about the way you would expect this. If you know this story at all, I think it opened about the way you would expect it to.
The opening scene is actually my favorite scene in the entire movie.
I agree.
I won't tell you anything, but I will say this: the soundtrack is going to sell very well.
And so will the soundtrack for the next movie.
Absolutely.
Which I won't spoil. But
what I'm going to say about Guardians of the Galaxy, I give it a 90.
Yeah.
Now, I have a couple problems.
Okay, let's hear about it.
The trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy was a product I was sold, and I wanted that product.
And you did not get that product.
I showed up. It was a completely different product entirely.
But it was still an amazing product.
But I was appealed and appeased by the product I was given,
Absolutely.
which is the first time I've ever been given a trailer. I expect this in a movie. I get there, it's a different situation. And I was like, this is still pretty good.
See, I was trying not to say anything because about a month ago I had seen about 15 minutes of this movie. I got to do a little preview, so I kind of already knew that, but I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to spoil it.
I fell into the late game hype train.
Right. Yeah.
And I really didn't. I hyped it up for myself, and I was worried that I was going to go in there and I was going to be like, this movie's terrible. And I
because
did.
Often that happens.
I had a lot of highs and lows. I was like, man, this is really cool. Oh, I don't know why these parts in here. Oh, this is really cool. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, this is really cool. And it was doing that, but the last 15 minutes is what made it.
The last 15 minutes totally made the movie. And for me, I'm glad they went over 2 hours.
I am
too. They easily could have cut some of the lulls of the story out, but it would have ruined the movie. It would have ruined the movie.
All those scenes, even if I don't like them very much,
they added to the story. They added to the background. They added to the character. You got to learn why Peter Quill was Peter Quill.
You get to learn why everybody's technically everybody, and it's hard to introduce 5 characters.
Yeah.
And
they did a very amazing job at that.
James Gunn nailed it, but you can really, I thought I was going to go in and it was going to be James Gunn doing a Marvel movie.
And it wasn't.
This was James Gunn doing a James Gunn film, and James Gunn films are kind of wacky.
And
that
he was
shows.
right, and all it was using was Marvel characters.
Yeah,
it
absolutely shows in the soundtrack that it's a James Gunn film.
And I'm not going to lie, A, I'm going to see it again, and B, I can't wait for the next one now.
Me and you, bro, come on.
All right.
Dance off. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
I'm distracting you. I'm sorry. That was one of the best scenes.
That was one of the best scenes.
And once you guys go out there and see it, you'll understand that joke reference. You'll go back, you'll watch the show, and you go, "Oh, that's funny. That's very topical reference that they're making there."
It's good.
So.
And if you haven't seen the movie yet, you really do need to go see the movie. And you know what other movie, if you haven't seen, you should go see?
You go. I'm not seeing it in theaters.
Lucy. You need to go see Lucy. Which
you hear that sound?
Won its box office its opening week, by the way. Beat Hercules. $44 million.
Right
it will now because it's up against Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's against every other August movie that's coming out, including the James Brown biopic, which is apparently rated to be very good.
It did very well for its opening week. It's going to make its budget back now.
I don't think it will.
Yes, it will because it wasn't as big a budget. I think
the budget was an $80 million, I think.
Yeah.
So
it'll make its budget back.
Well, if they can make 2 more weeks of $20 million, they're good.
It'll make its budget back, and just go see it. It's totally worth it.
I'll see it on DVD.
All right, you bastard.
I will. I'll see it on DVD. Right, so there's one last thing that we wanted to talk about. We had differing opinions on.
Okay.
I'm going to let you bring it up. unless you want me to bring it up.
No, go ahead.
So a lot of people are upset.
It's your story.
A lot of people are upset. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that's coming out, well, other than the fact people are upset about that in general because they're like, Michael Bay's crushing my childhood.
Which is not what we're talking about.
No.
Not this time.
They released a teaser poster for Australia.
the Australian release.
Different release dates than us.
Right. Well, the world has different release dates
Absolutely,
typically.
for pretty much across the board.
Yeah.
And what it showed was the turtles coming out of an exploding building.
Right.
And
Which
the release date was...
the release date for the movie in Australia is September 11th, 2014. Now, the biggest problem with that is, of course, anyone in the United States who knows that particular
That's
date,
9/11, yeah.
that's a very big date for this country. And a lot of people are very upset that you've got an exploding building September 11th on a movie poster. It doesn't matter that it's not in the United States, but there's a lot of people that are genuinely hurt
Yeah.
by this. And then there are also, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna placate you a little bit. There are also some people who are just hurt because they want to be hurt, not because they really are hurt.
Yeah.
And
It's hard to differentiate.
it is very hard to
Because it's just
differentiate.
this big group of pitchforks and torches, and some people have a right, and then some people are just butthurt.
And everyone has a different, we have a different perspective on this, obviously. I know people that worked in that building, in both those buildings.
Yeah.
So, there were a lot of tech companies in those buildings.
Absolutely.
In fact, one of which I almost went to work for.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, right? So, so I had some close friends that worked in those buildings, and so I have a very different perspective. Now, I won't disagree with your main argument, which is that sometimes we do get a little too PC, because we do.
Yeah. Well, what people don't realize about the poster is it's actually a throwback.
And that's the issue, right?
Yeah.
This is not a direct
This has
anything.
nothing to do with just a random exploding building or September
right.
11th at all. If you've ever played or looked at the 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game,
Or its direct port to the NES.
the NES even, the
Which
opening sequence and opening
is
level
turtles jumping out of an
is
exploding
the turtles
building.
jumping out of an
Yeah.
exploding building, and
Yeah.
it's literally in the same.
The whole first
whole
three
thing.
levels is the building's blown up, and you're trying not to. I mean,
That's
that
the whole
is-
first level, and then
yeah.
you jump out, and then you go
Yeah.
to the bridge level.
and the building explodes.
So
yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
them jumping out. In
Yeah.
fact, the main opening title sequence is that.
Yep, absolutely.
So-
And so from that perspective, I think as an artistic poster, as a throwing back to that original game, I love that actually. I think it's fantastic.
Well, I guess my biggest
So-
thing here is because of this is even before the whole September 11th thing happened.
Right.
When Lucas went back into ET and said, you know what, guns are bad. Let's pull all the shotguns and stuff out and replace them
Right.
with walkie-talkies.
Oh, this is
Or when
30
after,
years ago.
when after it
Yeah.
happened and they went into every copy of Superman 2, I want to say it was, and Spider-Man, they cut the World Trade Center scene out
Right,
of Spider-Man.
they- right.
And then they
digitally
digitally
removed the
buildings
from
from
Superman.
2.
Right.
I don't feel that that's right because
No,
when that
so
movie was filmed,
I agree with you on that. I don't think we should go back and edit things. Well, I mean, that's the way I think anyway. Look at every time George Lucas has gone and screwed with the Star Wars
yeah.
movies. But, I agree. We shouldn't go back and edit a movie. It's already done. It's out. At the time it
Leave
was
it.
out,
Leave it be.
it is what it
it's
is.
cinema for a reason because it
Right.
stays, and I get that we have the
Right.
ability to do it, but don't.
No,
Just don't do it.
I do agree with you on that. I completely
So,
agree.
I mean, I guess my thing is, yes, I'm sure there are people out there
Yeah.
that have legitimate complaints about this, and I get it. But at the same time, nobody's seeing the full extent of what it is. And I think that they're just looking at the image for what the image is and just being upset about it. And I can understand
Right.
in a way, but in another way, I'm still
Yeah.
across
So.
the board.
Way to end us on a low note. Thanks, buddy. You got something? Can we just talk about something else? Anything else?
Yeah, hey, does the audience got anything you guys want to ask? Pop
So, a little
culture-wise,
pop
movies,
culture-wise?
TV shows, anything. What's up?
Got a question from the audience? Hold on a second.
Hang on. Give that man a mic.
Give that man a mic.
Introduce yourself and then ask a question.
Chris Johnson, what's your take on the new Battlestar movie coming out?
New Battlestar movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So there is a
wanna
rumor.
push the button?
There's a rumor that's all but confirmed, and when I say all but confirmed, this is going to happen.
Is it Galactica?
Yeah.
Don't
And,
care then.
The problem is well, and I'm
Give me toasters or give
Right.
me death.
well. So the problem was the studio was looking to reboot Galactica as a show.
Oh, wait. You're telling me that Hollywood was looking to reboot
Right.
something.
Well, they were trying to boot it back as a show, and no one was taking it.
Well, of course not. People are done.
Right, people are done. So as a result, it's being turned into a movie. They're trying to find funding, and they're having a hard time finding funding right now.
I
No
don't
one
doubt
wants to
that.
finance. No one wants to
because
finance this
nobody
movie.
wants anything to continue on from that or be rebooted. They're like, this was perfect. I'm happy. I'm done.
Right.
I don't feel that way.
And I
love shiny
I
toasters
kind of
from the
agree. So,
70s.
like Chris, I'm gonna come at it a little bit differently. I'm not gonna be straight harsh like screw you as RJ was. I will say this: I'm not excited for the movie. However, if there's any reason, even though she isn't in the timeline, so it wouldn't be Starbuck necessarily, but if we could just get Katie back into any Battlestar, I'd watch the movie.
All right.
She doesn't have to be Starbuck, but if she's in the movie, I'm gonna go watch it. So
We have more questions for the audience. You guys got questions? Jay got a question. Jay
Oh,
got a question.
Jay got a
Hand
question.
Jay the mic. Introduce yourself. Ask a question.
My name is Jay, and I'm from Knoxville, and my favorite color is blue.
Just like your
And-
sexy, dreamy eyes.
I had a question about Better Call Saul.
yes.
Do you guys know who's producing that or whose idea that was? Is it Bob Odenkirk? Because I know he is behind like Mr. Show and
So-
Birthday Brothers, Boys, or
I
whatever.
actually know the answer to this.
I
Tons of
think
those guys.
I go ahead. I'll let you start.
Well, hit the mute button. So basically, what it was is AMC was cool with the producers and directors of Breaking Bad
Right.
ending the show kind of abruptly.
Right.
Because it did come to like they were like, look, we're only doing X amount of episodes a
Right.
season. They were like,
Right.
what do you mean you're not doing 23
Right.
episodes? And they
so
were like, well,
so
let's
Vince,
pitch you
right,
something.
right,
And Vince,
so- right.
yeah.
Vince was like, well, okay, then I'm gonna do this. And and essentially, they wrote how many endings to that last episode?
5.
Yeah, it was a ton, and it was funny because not even the cast. They filmed 4 of them.
Yeah.
Right.
And nobody knew what the exact ending
No one
was
knew
going
which
to
ending
be.
they were going to have. I think everyone kind of hoped Heisenberg was going to die because he was an asshole.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's
like,
just that full circle thing.
right. Well, that whole last season, it was obvious that it's like, oh, you still like White? You still like Walter? Well, I'm gonna let's after this week, let's see if you still like Walter White because I'm gonna make him more of a conniving little shit. And
Well, to answer more along the lines of the
Yeah.
question there,
So-
Odenkirk. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, well, I was gonna say a lot of this is coming from Vince too. That's where I was gonna go with that. With the Better Call Saul, yeah, Odenkirk is doing it, but it
Odenkirk's
wouldn't.
actually getting an executive producer credit
Right.
on the thing because him and Vince had a talk probably after Saul became a mainline character, and he goes, "Man, I really like this character. Is there any
Right.
way I could continue to do this if the
Right.
show goes off the air?" And Vince goes, "Well, let me get back to you." And they
Right.
pitched it together with AMC, so it's still going to be under the same production company. It's still going to be most of the same director-producer kind of aspect.
Well, it actually won't
Um,
be the same production company because
Well, yeah.
only it'll be the same people.
Yeah.
But the way Hollywood works,
They have
production
to
companies
rename it.
right.
because-
The production company will close down. Actually, did close down
Yeah.
technically at the end of Breaking Bad. They'll open a new one. It'll have a very similar name,
and it'll be the same people all back
Yeah.
because otherwise they have to pay certain fees,
Yeah,
all sorts of
yeah.
stuff, and they're not in production for anything. So it's like, why would you do
right.
that?
Yeah, yeah. Poor Kevin Smith learned that the hard way when he shot Clerks.
Yeah,
So,
that was
that's a whole other
brutal.
story we can
US
talk about.
Productions kept coming out with movies for a reason. It
Yeah.
was because otherwise he had to pay
Tons
so
of
much money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got this thing that's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
And then Miramax
coming.
folded, and he was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
So
And it's
yeah.
funny because Clerks 3 is coming out.
It is.
But it's apparently being self-produced because he went
Yep.
to the Weinsteins and goes, "Look, guys, I need $6 million." And they go, "Yeah, that's not going to happen." Like, seriously, Harvey
Yeah.
looked him straight in the eyes and was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, we're not doing it."
He's not. But Kevin Smith is hell or high water. He's putting
He's
that movie
making
out.
it. It's
He's
gonna
making it.
happen. I'm very
well, it's kind of like
excited about
Super
it.
Troopers too. That's
Oh,
just-
it's been in post or pre-production
right
for
because they need
years.
$15 million and no one's going to finance the movie. They
Yeah.
finally wrote the script last year.
No, it was 2 years ago and they finalized it last year.
Right, they finalized the script last
and
year.
Fox goes, "Yeah, you can't have the rights."
I know they're like, what?
Yeah, Fox
What?
didn't want to release Super Troopers 2
Yeah.
because they were afraid it would affect sales of Super Troopers 1.
Right.
Which is not selling for more than $5 at your local Walmart as it is. So
Which
I don't.
and if you haven't seen it, you should see that movie too.
Yeah.
So we got time for one
We got
more.
one
If anybody has one more
Anybody
question,
else?
you have a
Any
question?
questions?
You got a
Nothing?
question?
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead.
Spencer Hill. So, what is your take on what looks to be a pre-Batman Gotham?
The show Gotham.
show, right?
Yes.
Crap! Don't watch it.
Okay, I'm torn now because
I'm not
like,
torn.
Here, hit the mute button for us.
I'm not torn. That movie
I'm a
looks.
little torn about
that-
Gotham, and I'm torn. I'm torn because it could go awesome. It could be super
If
cool.
it goes the way of Smallville in the sense,
what I'm saying.
then it'll be great.
It could be awesome, or it could go the way of Arrow.
Right.
But as far as I'm concerned, as close to Batman as we're going to get on live television is Arrow. And this is all
I
stuff
agree.
that's
I totally agree with
prequel
that.
stuff, so it's all
Yeah,
going to be
I
dealing
totally
with like
agree with that.
mobster stuff and the actual cops and things. So I want to see how it'll affect Bruce as a boy to a man to a.
Apparently,
Batman.
apparently Batman is behind us. Let me just lean away there.
I am the night.
Batman, come through the window.
I have
Okay.
but
So
I don't
you,
think
you
it.
don't want. I've shown my disinterest in this show.
I don't think it's gonna make it. I
but-
really don't.
And personally, it's not going to be an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's not going to be an Arrow. It's not going to be Smallville. I don't think it'll make more than 2 seasons because Fox is ready to cancel anything that they put money into right now.
Yeah.
We got. Come on, we got one.
We got time for one more.
Hey, my name's Kirk. Just kind of continuing off that last question. What about the new Flash
I'm
TV
kind
show
of
that's coming
excited
out?
for the Flash. I'm not gonna
Think
lie.
about
I am stupid excited for the Flash, which is weird because it looks like it might be terrible too. But I love the Flash.
I don't think
so-
it's going to be terrible. I've seen the full-on crazy 6-minute trailer for this. I'm a huge fan of Arrow. I was not a huge fan of Smallville. Which
Oh, I know you weren't.
You were.
I was a massive fan
and
of
I
Smallville.
couldn't get into it, and I really got into Arrow. I was like, Arrow's
Yeah.
going to be stupid. I watched 3 episodes, and I was like, I need more of this now. And then
Well, and what I think they did good about Arrow, I don't watch it not because it's bad. I just didn't have time to watch it. I am going to go back and watch
it's
them
super
though.
good.
But I'm glad that what they didn't do to Arrow was take the Smallville version of Arrow
Yeah.
and make him a show. That they just decided to say, no, it's a great idea for a show, but we're going to write our own damn thing because it would have been horrible otherwise.
To really answer the question for me, on my perspective, I think it looks great for the speed running. I think the costume looks great. I think the person's great.
Absolutely.
And I think the whole show is going to be awesome. If it
Yep.
lasts longer than a season, if it gets renewed for season 2, I think you're going to see a 5-season running show. Personally.
Yeah, I can see that. So,
I don't think it'll run longer than 5 seasons. I also don't think Arrow will run longer than 6.
well, I hope we run longer than 5 seasons.
I hope we do too. We're on episode 23 right now, so technically that's a whole season under wraps.
Oh my
right
God!
there.
Imagine that.
So this is our season ender.
No, we're
Ish.
gonna.
Well, I mean, we'll be back, but
We'll be
let's-
back.
we're
yeah.
capping this
All
at
right,
season
all right.
1.
Sure, why not?
All right,
So speaking of
so-
capping, tomorrow we're capping
Yeah.
our week. So come
We got
back for the best of.
We
What
got
are we
our
doing
top
tomorrow?
5 Friday.
What is it? What are
you
we
want
doing?
the subject? The
Yeah,
subject actually was given to us by a fan.
Yeah.
Her name is Michelle. I don't know if she wants to give her last name.
We'll just
so
say
I'm not
Michelle.
gonna do that.
We'll
Yeah,
just say Michelle. A viewer decided that she wanted to give us a shout out,
Yep,
and
and she gave us the top 5 movies that are coming up. We both have a
movies
list.
that are in
We haven't seen
production
each
that
other's
we're
list.
interested in seeing.
Yeah.
So I think this will be a good list. So stick around for that. That's best of tomorrow. In the meantime, like us on Facebook
Subscribe to us on the YouTube.
and give us a call at 480.
Stupid 9.